morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
It's 21 minutes after 6 on Morning Barbados. As we said, we're continuing to talk about exams, results, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the in-between. The launch of the Caribbean Examinations Council regional results was on Wednesday, and we're here to talk about some of the issues that were thrown up when those results came in and during the adjudication of the examinations. To do that is Senior Assistant Registrar in the Examinations and Administration Division, excuse me, frog in my throat this morning, Cassandra, Susan Giles, Miss or Mrs. as she says, and Henderson Eastman, who's the Assistant Registrar of Measurement and Evaluation. Long titles, heavy long titles, but we're happy you're here. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning. Welcome.
First of all, congratulations on getting through another exam season. I don't think we think about how much work goes on behind the scenes, but clearly there is a lot to make sure that the standards are maintained. So perhaps, Ms. Giles, if we'll start with the ladies. A broad overview, what kind of observations have come out of this past exam season? Regional trends, improvements, regressions from last year?
Yes, well, it has been a long season. We start exams, as you know, very early in April, and we go right through to the marking. We are very fortunate. We have a cadre of teachers. I think it's just over 4,000 teachers who mark at 4 centres in the Caribbean. And I want to say at this point, congratulations to them, because without them we wouldn't have been able to get it done.
Of course.
This year there have been some highlights though. For the first time, we were able to offer our results online to candidates and schools. This is the first time in the history of CXC that we have been able to do this.
Nice.
And this is really a big thing for us. I really want to say how pleased we are that we can offer this service to the region. The other thing is that we offered our results came back 1 week earlier than we have ever brought them. The Cape were available from the 7th of August and the CSEC from the 10th of August, 10th, 11th of August. This is phenomenal when you think how many papers, how many scripts, the hundreds and thousands of scripts that have to be marked, have to be processed, the school-based assessment.
And not every script is tick, tick, tick and turn over. There's a lot of due diligence.
It's not adding up, and I'm sure Henderson can speak a little bit more on the measurement part of our operation. So we have those 2 major highlights, and we are very, very pleased. And when you consider that our script marking started a week later, we in fact
made up some
big
time.
And it's all in a big part due to the staff that we have, the staff at the organization.
What are the numbers like though for that staff? What are the days like when you pull that team together?
The days are long. The days are long. And the staff days are extremely long. Henderson could tell you we work 16-hour days, 18-hour days, and it's a period. It's just to get everything done, everything processed.
Sometimes 24 hours.
Sometimes round the clock, yes. It really is difficult. But we do appreciate it, especially when you see the 2 young ladies sitting here. That's the result. And I feel so proud when I see them.
Fantastic.
You know, of what we have done. Sorry.
No, well, just to pull in, Henderson, maybe you can tell us a little more give us a little more of the details in terms of the process. And as Katrina alluded to, it's not just about ticks and running through, flying through. Maybe you can tell us a little more about the measurement.
Well, the process really starts about 1.5 to 2 years before for a particular examination cycle, and that is setting getting the paper set, getting the questions written, getting the questions vetted, getting them typeset, a whole back and forth within the department, and then you go to the external moderator to give you a content check, who gives you a blow-by-blow account of the paper, critique with the chief examination committee, and that takes roughly 1.5 to 2 years in most cases. And then once the exam goes to the printers, and printing is big business, we still print outside of the region, and the paper then comes back to Susan's department, which deals with all the security measures, the packing, the getting them to the centers across the region. And people don't appreciate the work that goes on in this, because we in Barbados are small. But when you go to places like Guyana, when the papers land at the airport in To go to Georgetown, you might have to go to a place called Region 8.
Wow.
You might have to travel by a light aircraft, travel on land, and then cross a river by boat and be stored in some remote place.
Yeah, there's a lot of security involved.
Yes,
as well.
and that presents a challenge to us sometimes.
And you made the point that even before the typeset is selected for the exams, it has to go to an external...
No, this happens after the typeset, because what you usually get would be draft,
right,
and that may be handwritten or rough type, and then inside our department, examination development, the measurement officer goes through, edits, and put the house style on the paper, types of print and things like that.
But in terms of content, this makes a lie of what a lot of young people come out of the exam and say, the French paper was hard this year, or the English paper was easy this year. All that goes into it certainly makes a lie of that. What goes into deciding the tone of an exam paper for any subject?
Well, the tone of an exam, first, when as a test developer, measurement officer, you go to the meeting, you go with several past papers.
Past this prelude.
Past examination papers. You go with the statistics on those past papers, the performance. So you take that back to the same examination committee, and you try to benchmark that exam with the past examination papers. Also, we do some pre-testing. Some of the items are tried out before. Certainly, all multiple choice papers are pre-tested across the region. So we know pretty well how those questions are going to behave.
We've seen the availability of some past papers in stores that parents can get and allow children to practice. Do you guys find that this has perhaps been helpful in the kinds of results you've been seeing in more recent years?
It's always helpful when you have past papers to inform teaching and learning, because the teachers then will get a hang of the standard. It helps them and the students as well, and they can practice. And in some areas, what happens is people teach purely by past papers, which is wrong. You should teach the content. So sometimes you really can see that some teachers do spot in how they're teaching. So sometimes a topic that is not tested for the last year or two, and you bring a question on that topic, then you see a fall in performance there.
Well, we still have a lot of areas to cover before we conclude our talk. So maybe we can continue then by looking. You already mentioned that it was a new thing for you, having the results available online. Maybe we can talk about cell phone use, any issues in that area.
Yes, well, we would like to get to the stage, of course, when we don't have issues with the cell phone, because, once candidates are found with the cell phone in the examination, they are immediately, well, not immediately, but they're disqualified from the examination. And when I say they're disqualified, it means from everything, not just the subject they were writing at the time. So if you're registered for 6 subjects, you're disqualified from the, it's an automatic, because it's 0 tolerance to cell phone use. Remember, it's a communication device, and you do have that. But I would like to point out that we still have a number of cases of that, and it's upsetting to us because candidates are at a disadvantage. It's not necessary. And one of the things we've found is that candidates who get to the exam late, they're rushing. They're the ones who, in most cases, forget their cell phones on them, and then they ring during the examinations. One of their friends want them, something, and that's it. So we have, last year I was here and I was speaking to parents. I was saying, try to get your guardians, your children to the examination early, give them enough time to settle themselves, organize. And the principals and the exams coordinators are there to remind them, put away your cell phone, put it in your bag, get it up on top of the stage, that type of thing. But I need to stress, though, in all of this, that the irregularities that we have that we've had in the examination only represent for the CSEC exams 0.09% of the entry. So while we have a concern, and that is something we really don't, because if we have 60 candidates not getting results, that's 62 many. But we need to keep it in perspective that it's a very small part of the irregularities.
Of course.
But we still need to have parents doing their part as well as the candidates.
Indeed. Naturally. I mean, I don't think there's any question that we are proud of you and we know how hard you work. So we're making sure that we get that right out there. And that 0.9%, we're just trying to eliminate that. But 0.09%. In our final few minutes, online results being available online, huge innovation. We're very proud of you. but the online world throws up a whole other set of potential challenges. Have you mitigated for them? What do you foresee as the challenges being? I mean, you know, hacking is now a thing of sport for anyone with a computer and a few hexadecimal codes.
Well, we have heard, we've seen the press reports that there have been people who are changing results, but one of the things we recognize is that what they are changing are their results. It's a case like they're poisoning their food, they can't get into our kitchen yet. It's that type of thing. Yeah. They are changing anybody who knows PDF, you can go up, take something, cut and paste, and you want to show your parents that
that has nothing to do with
your parents probably don't even know how to get online, so they take it and they show. But what we are stressing here is that for any employer or anyone who is looking at a potential applicant and who have any concerns about what they're seeing, being presented with, they can tell that applicant to apply for a transcript from CXC, because what you recognize, we have the accurate results, the ministries have the accurate results, the universities would have been given the accurate results, because our results go to the universities as well. Online. So they would have, online. Yeah. So they have the accurate results. So people can try what they like, you know, and they will do, because, you know, they're smart. And they will do what they can.
The wrong ways.
They will do what they can. But we are encouraging employers to use direct them to get a transcript from the CXC, and the transcript goes directly to the employer. It doesn't come through the candidate. You know?
Okay, final really quick question. Any trends? Jamaica doing better in biology, Trinidad doing not so good in geography, Barbados doing better in everything?
Well, we don't usually do a comparison of either schools within the territory, or like to compare territories with territories, because we are in the Caribbean. We serve about 17 governments, and we're at different stages in development.
Okay.
You might find that in one country that you have 98% of your teachers are graduates, and in some territories you still have a lot of people that's A-level teaching. So there are different conditions. So we don't like to do that.
But listen, one thing I like to just mention though very quickly is that Barbados's performance in certain subjects, in English I will say, it was commendable. When we compare it to the region, we don't compare it to another island.
Right.
So whereas the regional performance in English A, for instance, was at 67% of the candidates achieving acceptable grades 1 to 3, Barbados was like at 80. So I can say that, you know, Barbados performed. Where I think Barbados has to be very concerned about is mathematics. And that's a regional performance as well. Theirs was a little higher than the region, but I think it's an area of concern. And I'm sure that the ministry is going to be addressing this at some point.
And there's, of course, collaboration.
That's right. There's some concern on this.
Is that linked to maybe teaching styles, or is that we are just weak with the
Well, I think it's a region-wide problem. It's not just a Barbados problem. It's mathematics. It's a region-wide problem that we're looking at. We have signed an agreement with the Memorandum of Understanding, a MOU, with the Open Campus, and one of the things we're hoping they'll be able to help us with is teacher training, because this is a problem that we know has to be addressed. The mathematics performance of candidates in the region is poor, and when you look at what's happening in China and Japan, they're doing very well. We have to get there.
Okay.
So that's something that the governments of the region will certainly have to address.
Then we're talking about mathematics performance in the region.
You know, final few seconds.
We are talking about 34%. 34% getting the acceptable grade 1s to 3 across the region, and in Barbados is a little lower than that. So mathematics is a problem.
Lady, gentlemen, thank you so much. Again, we're very proud of you. Thank you for the hard work you do behind the scenes. And hopefully we will be coming back next year to talk about some improvements in those areas.
And tell people, again, stop poisoning their own food.
Yes, because you can't get into the kitchen. We've been chatting with Susan Giles and Henderson Armstrong of CXC. Well done to all of the staff and teachers there. Coming up, talking back to school with Bridgetown Come Alive.
Morning, Barbados, good morning.